Hello and welcome to your Living A Course in Miracles call. Today is Friday, October 23rd. My name is Jared Krebs. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas, and we have a very special guest that's going to be joining us tonight. Her name is Lisa Natoli. She is a world-renowned Course in Miracles teacher and student, an awesome person, and she's going to be sharing with you all like her journey with A Course in Miracles. She has some really cool programs that you can plug into, and we're going to be asking her questions. So if you're live right now on the Zoom call, you're going to have an opportunity to ask Lisa a question, and also everybody who's watching, if you want to join us, look us up on Facebook. We're called Living A Course in Miracles Audio Book Club. There's a link in the description of this YouTube video. So if you want to come and be in this community, we do a call every Friday night at 7 Central and every Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock Central. So it's crazy cool how much our group is growing and what a great community we have. And thank you all for being on. And Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jared.
Awesome.
I just love to be here.
Well, I'm excited to learn from you today. You came very highly recommended from Terry Wade, who is on this call right now.
Yay, I see Terry. I love you so much, Terry.
And when Terry Wade said, contact Lisa Natoli, I was like, well, let me find Lisa Natoli. And I looked you up and I saw all your content, your web pages, your Facebook stuff. And I became your email subscriber. Everyone go subscribe to Lisa Natoli. We'll put that link also in the description of this video. But what I loved about your content was just that, like, you were tackling some issues about like politics, or you'd be tackling issues like that people are dealing with in everyday life, and just very, very much in that like non-dualistic, how does Ken Wapnick, he doesn't he doesn't like waver. He sticks to the course, and I love that your message was that same way. So we want to know, like, your story, like what brought you to the course, what was your life like before A Course in Miracles, and then how has it transformed since, and how did you find it, things like that. And then we can open up for questions, or if you have a message you want to go into first. I mean, we have an hour, so take it away, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jared. And, you know, I heard that this is a group that follows Ken Wapnick teaching, and I just think that's awesome. And I want to say I actually don't know much about Ken. I've actually don't know what kinds of things he says or teaches, but what I do know about Ken is his total devotion. And so all my gratitude for the Foundation for Inner Peace, for just the work that has been done to really bring the Course in Miracles around the world. So I'm also happy, Jared, that you mentioned the non-dual, because that's been a big part of the last 2 years of my life. Just a transformation that is like, it was like the missing piece. And I'll just tell a little bit about my story. I was born and raised in New Hampshire. I live in Maine now. My husband, Bill Free, is on the call. Hey, babe. And I, just lived the life most people live, of thinking we're bodies. We're learning the rules of how to be successful, how to be good. Went to college, ended up moving to New York City, and became, in worldly terms, very successful. I was working for a New York City publisher. I had money, I had a great apartment, and I lived in fear every day, because I was always just like, this thing is a house of cards. It's just like, one false move in the relationship, in the job, and it can all fall apart. So I knew from a very early age, in my 20s, that the worldly success wasn't it. It doesn't bring happiness. It doesn't bring joy. And at the time, because all I wanted was what we all want, is that relaxation and to rest. And I couldn't find it. I did everything in the world to find this thing I had read about in so many different books about enlightenment, awakening, to find the self. And I would have glimpses, but then I would always fall back down into the old habits of worry, fear, guilt, judgment, anger. And so I drank. That was how I tried to relax. And then I found the Course in Miracles in 1992. Very turned off by the religious terminology. Christian, I don't have a religious background, so I had a huge resistance to the course, but I also knew this is the truth. I just knew it. I knew there's something in this message that can help me. And so it's been 30 years. I've had the course for 30 years, and I spent many years studying it, getting together in Course in Miracle groups. I ended up moving to a place in Wisconsin. I was at this place called Endeavor Academy. It was supposed to be a 30-day retreat. I ended up moving back to New York and gave all my stuff away and moved to Wisconsin for 10 years. And I've done very bold things in this search for self. That's why I'm telling you this story. I just I want to know myself. I want to know this joy that I've heard about. I want to know oneness. And I couldn't find it. I would find it and lose it. And it was so frustrating because I was 100% devoted. Like, how is it possible to have the kind of commitment I had and not be able to consistently find myself? What? And I kept thinking there must be something I'm doing wrong. There's some missing piece here, and I kept having like this thought: how is healing accomplished? It was like this obsession of mine. Like, I want to crack the code on healing. And then this is funny, I got sick. So then in 2012, I guess, I got this flu-like symptoms at first, and then there was vomiting whenever, just body stuff that I couldn't heal. So I did all the Course in Miracle things to try to heal the body, all the while saying I'm not a body. Then I tried to heal the mind to heal the body, and nothing worked. So it was this, and then it was diagnosed as incurable. I thought I was going to die. I went through about a 2-year period where I thought I'm dying. And the turnaround came from my husband, Bill, who's here in the room, Bill Free. And it was in the fall of 2018. He had been following non-dual teachers, Rupert Spira, Jean Klein, Francis Lucille, and I didn't have much interest in it at the time. And he was at a Rupert Spira retreat, and I was at home having the worst body symptoms ever. Thought I was going blind. I mean, I was having all sorts of weird stuff that was happening to me. And Bill called me on the phone, or I called him, and I said to him, I don't know how to get out of this pain. I'm in so much pain. And Bill said, he's always inviting me to come into a quiet space. And then he said, can you welcome it? Now, see, up until that point, I'd been trying to get rid of it. I'd been trying to find the cause of body symptoms. I'd been trying to change my situation. Even though I had a Course in Miracles, I still was like, I'm needing to change my present condition for a future condition in which then I can be happy. And Bill said, can you welcome this, and can you love it, even if these symptoms never go away? And that was the beginning for me. It was this moment of yes. I said yes to that. And so since then, there's just been an awakening where that was the missing piece for me. Welcoming. like to recognize that that, and this is the part I couldn't get this with A Course in Miracles, even though I love it. Like A Course in Miracles meets us where we think we are as a body and takes us on a progressive path through steps inward. And the non-dual path actually is the reversal, where it just tells you the truth up front, that you are awareness, you are the self, and everything is inside of it appearing. That was pivotal for me, that I am consciousness, one self, life, and the mind and the body is inside of this perfection, inside of this awareness. And so now it's become like living. That's why, like, this really is about living as the self, as the one self. And I have found out that it's an interesting thing now, because I can see that now I read the Course in Miracles and now I see everything differently. Like there's an understanding now that I was already it already. Like that's the interesting part to me, is we're trying to get somewhere while using these Course in Miracle concepts or other concepts. I'm not a body, I am free, I'm whatever it is, but all the while is, here's this pure presence, ourself. This is what we are, that we really are not bodies, that we are that which is aware of the body, aware of the mind, aware of the sensation, aware of thoughts, aware of events. And that's that's the joy that I experience. So I'm open for questions and any sharing.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing your backstory, Lisa. And it's awesome that you had some great breakthroughs through through the body challenges. And I guess my first question is, are you out of pain now? Like, did that resolve itself? Like once you went into that?
Yep. So that's a good question. And the focus is no longer on the body anymore. So before, I was in this condition of I'm weak, I'm sick, I'm frail, I'm limited, I'm a body. And so the shift in perception then, it was a change of mind where, and that's where A Course in Miracles talks about this being a decision, is it's a decision for wholeness. It's a decision for oneness. And so that's why A Course in Miracles says healing doesn't take any time. How
Mhm.
long does it take you to be what you are? It takes only that one instant. And so I had been masquerading as a sick person. I had been identified with the thing I'm not, and I was getting the effects of the thing I'm not. And in the moment of decision and welcoming, because love is what we are. So when Bill said that to me, can you love it? That's myself being myself. Total love for everything that is appearing. And I began to recognize that in this stillness, there were no symptoms. There is no pain. I occasionally will have dry mouth, occasionally, but the thing I noticed is that in the stillness, it disappears completely. So what I know to be true is that in presence, which is uninterrupted, there are no levels to presence. There is no level to what you are. There's no degrees. There is only perfection. There's only wholeness. There's only oneness. And then what happens is, appearing inside this perfection, events seem to happen. The body seems to do things. You're not that. And so you more and more are standing as the self in this oneness. And whatever happens inside, it doesn't matter. Like there's only joy. That's and what I have come to discover, I am completely unlimited. Like I couldn't be doing this. I stopped doing videos. I was like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't talk. I couldn't, my eyes were just mucus and I was really just, everything was a problem back then because of my identification with the body self. So this is what's available to each and every one of us, that this awareness, this consciousness is what you are. It's not somewhere else. It's not later. It's here, active, alive in everyone and in everything. And so becomes just a choice to be what we are, to be the self united with our creator. So that's it. And now there's no problem. And if I find myself in a space where, I don't know, if anything appears, it's just like I go right into the resting place. I have these practices of just stillness, watching the thoughts, watching the emotion, watching the sensation, not fixing it. That's key also. That is probably the most important thing I can say tonight for everyone to hear this, is to the best of your ability to stop trying to change your thoughts. Stop trying to change your emotions. Stop trying to change the sensation. Stop trying to fix them. Stop trying to heal them. Stay in awareness and presence to the thought, feeling, sensation, emotion. And when you stay, and that's what love is. And what does A Course in Miracles say? Light dissolves darkness by definition. So when we stay in presence, as much as you can, you don't try to stay in presence, but just abide in this quiet space, and you will see the thoughts disappear. The emotion, just things just start to disappear. And so, yeah, it definitely has shifted.
So glad to hear that. And thank you for sharing about not trying to fix things and just letting the emotions come and watching it. And like Christian wrote, quietly does nothing. Forgiveness is still and quietly does nothing. It simply waits and watches, waits and judges not.
Exactly.
And the word is uncompromising. Thank you, Kristen Wong. I said that at the beginning. Ken Wapnick is uncompromising with the teachings of the Course. So, all right. So we're going to open it up to everybody for questions. And Lisa, just so you know, we normally have a timer, and I do like a 1-minute timer for the person asking, and then a 2-minute timer for you to answer. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that way that, finish your thought if the thing goes off, but that way we can kind of get through all the questions, because I think everyone probably has a question, or the hands are already raising in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Terry Wade. The reason that you're here today.
I'm so happy to see you, Terry.
It's so good seeing you too. What a treat. I'm so glad that we get to be here with you. And the 40-day program just changed my life. And I can't believe I met you May 2019 at A Course in Miracles, Boston. And here we are. I mean, I know there's no accidents, but I think it's so. So the question I was asking is, so I know you so I have a lot of goals, and I'm like goal setting and, wanting to do, make a huge impact in the world. And I feel like you're making such a huge impact. And the more I see you, the more people I feel like you're impacting. And I know that you don't believe in like visualizing or manifesting, because it's like, really, I mean, everything's already happened. So I get that. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm just curious on your ways of goal setting, because I mean I kind of feel like I visualize something and then I see it, or but I mean maybe it's already happened and that's why. So I'm just curious on your ways of goal setting, because you've made such a big impact in the world and I'd love to make a bigger impact in the world too. So just curious.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I definitely have been pretty vocal over the last couple of years about the law of attraction and manifesting going away. I mean, that's something that has been in the world for the last 100 to 200 years, of using our minds to manifest. And when we all have that ability, like we all have that power, but when you begin to recognize your eternal true nature, that becomes so small. And so my suggestion would be that, like, can you give me something specific? Like, what's something specific that you think you're lacking, that you want in your life?
Well, I guess it's not something specific, but I talk a lot about manifesting, and I know I've seen your emails about like you don't need to manifest anything, and you don't have to try to like visualize it, because you are. I mean, I don't know if I'm getting the language right, but it's like you already are that like perfect presence awareness. And so I don't know. At first, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like maybe I'm teaching the wrong things about like telling people like visualize something and watch it come into creation, or so I mean it's more that whole sense is like visualizing manifesting for me is more like, I mean I just have goals, but really to like be better and do better in the world and make a bigger impact. And it's not really like any kind of bad, but I feel like the ways that I goal achieve, I mean, I definitely ask the Holy Spirit every morning, like what would you have me do, what would you have me say, and to who. But then it's like I'm just wondering if like I don't want to like teach the wrong things, like I mean I just got into the course a little over a year ago, but yeah, I'm just trying to think of like, yeah, if there's like a better way of goal achieving or talking about goal setting, and it's out saying the words like visualizing or manifesting. I just don't want to like be teaching it wrong or saying it wrong. And I love your teachings and the emails, and you've been doing this way decades longer than me.
I love the question, and I think A Course in Miracles actually does tell us what to do. Like, it's a shift in perception and a change about ourselves. So I had no money, no job, tons of debt, super heavy body. I mean, I had all these things that I wanted different. Like, I wanted to pay my debt. I wanted to have money. I wanted to have a body that wasn't so heavy. And I started where I was, but not manifesting. So I changed the way I saw myself. So I started where I was. I didn't know how to pay that debt. I'll use that one. But I was like, I'm not weak, but strong. Like, that's from the course. I would start to say, yes, I'm not limited. I'm unlimited. And A Course in Miracles, like this course, this version of the book, with from the Circle of Atonement, has these 33 essays in here. These are all from the early stories from Helen Schuckman and Bill Thetford. And there's one story in here that was the beginning of A Course in Miracles, and it's called A New Approach. So before Helen started channeling this material for A Course in Miracles, her and Bill Thetford had a ton of problems in their department, lots of fighting. And one day, Bill Thetford got this idea that he needed to adopt a new approach. He wasn't going to wait for the department to change. He wasn't going to wait for anything to change. He was going to be the change he was waiting for. And he told Helen, I'm going to listen in the meeting. I'm going to show up different. He called it a new approach. And Helen said, I will join you. And Jesus said that joining, that moment before they walked into the meeting, was how A Course in Miracles came into time. He said it was that moment when they decided to be the change they wanted. And so rather than trying to manifest something, for each of us to say, I am everything. Like, I have love, I am love, I am you teach this, Terry, so beautifully in all the work you do. I mean, this is what I see you teaching and not manifestation, is that you are helping people to know who they really are. And when you know who you really are, you show up different. You show up in a whole brand new way, and then everything you need for the journey is given. And that's exactly what A Course in Miracles says. There's that one line that says, when you decide, what is it, Bill? When you decide,
When you accept his plan as the one function that you would fulfill, there is nothing that the Holy Spirit will not prepare for you before you reach it. It's on page 433 in the Blue Book.
and that's been my experience. Like when you just say, okay, I have no other goal here. My goal is to be the love that I am and to stay in this listening space. Lord, here I am. Everything you need is given to you. Everything. And so that's way better than manifestation in my mind. And I paid the credit card debt off in 9 months. I just everything's been easy. Everything since that moment has been easy for me. Because I don't have a preference anymore. I don't have like, oh, I want this or I need this. It's like, oh, I have everything. And then I think the key also is to stay in the I'm giving God's gifts. That's what we're here for. We're here to give peace. We're here to give love. We're here to give understanding. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Terry.
That was the answer. I love it. Thank you.
All right, I didn't quite have the timer going, but I'll get it going on the next one. So thank you, Terry. Thank you, Lisa. Let's go to Patrick O'Donnell. Where are you calling in from, sir? You can unmute yourself now.
Hi, I'm calling from Austin, Texas.
My man.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for speaking with us. You spoke about how your sense of yourself changed from the identifying with, like, as a body to identifying with the pure unlimited presence. I'm wondering if you could talk about how your perception and relationships with other people has been changed as you've gone through your own evolution.
That is such a good question, Patrick. And yeah, it's changed totally, because when there's a recognition of oneness, that when as I look at you and I remember myself, and I remember that you are myself, then there's just a change in how I see things, and it extends beyond the body now. It's recognition that this life is in everything. It's in the chair you're sitting in. It's in the room. It's in everything. It's in everyone. There's nowhere that this consciousness, this love, this life is not. And so that's why, to me, I love what Jesus said 2,000 years ago, is I give you 2 commandments. Like, he got rid of all the worldly law things that, how behavioral stuff, which had been the law. And he said, love thy God with all thy heart and love your neighbor as yourself. That's the law. That's the law. That's what it is. And so if I feel triggered by something, I mean, there's a lot going on in the world right now. There's just a lot of things, and the one thing is a lot of people are passing away from the world. Like, I know Terry, your mom, she just passed unexpectedly at a very young age. I know Jared, you said your friend passed last night. at a very young age unexpectedly. I mean, so we have these situations that maybe you still get a charge on. There's sadness, there's anger, there's confusion, there's something. And there's the point of power. See, like what most people do in a spiritual path is try to positive affirmation it away. Like we don't like the discomfort of that charged feeling or the fear, and we try to escape from it. We say, oh, it's not real. Oh, it's but a true practice is to stay right there in the discomfort, in whatever emotion you're experiencing, and from this point there is an awareness of the truth. There is this dissolving then of that emotion, that thought, that feeling. So for me, it becomes a path of like, do I have a charge on this? Is there a grievance? Is there a resentment? Is there there's a willingness in me where I just say, I don't want that. I don't. And then there's just this place of stillness, like a place of, let me see this different. Let me remember the truth. Let me remember this is my brother whom I love. Let me be still an instant and go home. And then you find less and less that nothing, after a while, there's very little that triggers you anymore.
Really helpful.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Lisa. Well, you answered my question right there about losing somebody suddenly, when you said be in the allow myself to feel the pain or the sadness and not try and change it and just observe it, and almost embrace it in a way of looking at it without judgment, and not try to positive affirmation it away, or those types of things. So yeah, definitely very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's it. Let's just stay with that for a second then. So, because that's the big thing, like when something like that happens. So, do you have any other, like what is happening for you in all of that?
So today was more of like a shock. Like I got the message in a Facebook Messenger message from her sister, and I just had to sit down and because I was like in the middle of my morning routine making my protein shake, and then I get this message and I'm like, and I had just talked to Jelena the night before, right? So she was healthy in my mind, and now I'm getting this message. I'm sad to say Jelena has passed. And I was like, and I had to sit down, and then Crystal saw me, my wife, and she's like, what's wrong? And I showed her the text, and then I called Jelena's phone, because I was like, hopefully this is a joke, or not a joke, but something, maybe a mistake. And then the person who answered sounded like Jelena, but it was her sister, the one who messaged me. And she just said, yeah, she passed away. Her husband found her on the floor, like from a heart attack or something. I'm guessing heart attack, but it could have been something else. But, so then it just put a huge cloud on the day for me. And we had such a great business meeting last night. We had the whole team. We had all this excitement. We had people like succeeding, and we had like great team camaraderie. And today, then I had to call each person, because we're a family. I had to call each person and tell them our partner, our colleague has just died, and everyone was shocked. Every call, I had to do this call to all of them. And so each call was hard, and each person was shocked in their own way. And then I just been in a kind of a funk like all day. I had already had scheduled calls, like every 30 minutes up until now, I've been on business calls. So I've just been being with it. You know, I know that it definitely motivates me to do my forgiveness work, because I don't want to I don't want to keep being thinking I'm in this dream. I want to know, you know, that I'm perfect spirit all the way and not identify with the body anymore. So that's like how it's been today. It's just been sad, and it's like a cloud all over me and the team. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful, Jared, that you shared all of that. And, you know, like for me, we don't want to miss these moments that really are wake up calls. Like, and my suggestion is to not try to carry on, like to keep up with the routine, because that's the gift. There's a gift in everything where we wake up. Like Terry, I know, like you and I had this conversation when your mom passed unexpectedly. You know, she was a vibrant and alive, and so when these things happen, like it really does wake us up to what's important and what is true. And I can't remember what you said exactly, Jared, at the beginning of this call. It was something about the posts that I write. Like I try to stay away from politics. You said I write about politics. I do try to stay away from politics as much as I can. But what I feel like is what's happening in the world right now is a call for everyone to simply be the presence of God, to be not spiritual, not some kind of like out there in a cave or out in the stars kind of a ethereal being, but for each of us to be so present in a bodysuit, like knowing we're not this, but to and what happens, Jared, is like you recognize this kind of care that you called everyone on your team, and the compassion and the love and the like the joining, like okay, like that makes you a better leader. Like that you begin to realize, like, okay, I don't want to miss a moment of life anymore. I don't want to miss a moment caught up in the just the work and that's really for me what's been key is to find a gift in everything. Like to really, what's her name? What's your friend's name?
Jelena.
Jolena. Yep. So she's given us a gift here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it really is if we see it that way, that we can really see like there's no accidents, and that was the major gift. I really thought I was dying every day, every single day for 2 years. I just that this is it. This there's no way this body can stay here. That made me alive. Any one of us can go this moment.
Yeah.
There's literally no guarantees here. So what are we waiting for? Why are we walking on eggshells? Why are we living life afraid? That to me is like, oh, okay. Like I'm not going to live that way anymore. I'm going to really know myself and be myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Jared.
Gift. All right, let's go to Julia R. You can unmute yourself and maybe turn on your webcam.
I'm just starting it. Hi, guys.
There we are. Where are you calling in from, Julia?
I am calling in from very rainy Vancouver, British Columbia. This isn't very good.
There's someone else here from there.
Yeah. Where are you, Lisa?
I'm in Maine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why my camera's so bad today. Anyway, it is what it is. Okay, I'm excited listening to you. This just gets me. There's something about what you're saying. I'm going to go do some homework and go to your website when we get off this. But everything, Terry's question, all the questions so far, even this conversation, it's kind of, I just want to kind of confirm some of this. Like, it's like looking in a mirror and knowing that that person that's reflected isn't me. Right? I mean, that is just one of the players that I've got decided that's playing this game. And I'm in a process where I'm trying to sort out what kind of my next step is. Like, work's been crazy busy, so that's been good. And I keep looking at, like, I see this COVID craziness as a chance to just show up and send out a little bit of, let's not be afraid, let's just be here. I hate this. There's so much that I hate about this new normal and all this. Sorry, there's just so much stuff. Like, everybody's just afraid. And I figure my game plan is to be not. So I'm listening to you saying, you know, this recognition of oneness and finding the neutrality. So are we, and I stopped doing goal setting ages ago. It's so hard because the world says we have to do this and we have to do that. And I'm in sales. So, I mean, I have what I tell the company, and then there's what I do every day. And what I do every day is just ask for what I want. And then I go about being me. And if I feel like going for a walk or going to the library or going shopping, and I'm always laughing because it's like the next thing I know, somebody's phoning me and they want some more stuff. It's shocking and fun. So I'm just trying to sort out, okay, how do I step into the next step? And what I'm hearing from you is just finding that oneness, that one spot where we know that, I mean, I don't even know how to articulate it. I'm going to listen to this. I don't often re-listen to a lot of our Friday night calls, but this one I'm going to be re-listening to, because how you answered Terry's question and even this conversation about death and dying. Now, I'm older than probably most of you, so it's like, okay, I just make it quick. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You know, like listening to you and talking about 2 years of dying, that doesn't look very pretty. And I've got friends that are in that kind of condition where they're in pain, or they're in this or that. And it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'll accept loving that pain until you're in pain and you can't sleep, or, you know, you can't see, or you can't do this or that. But I don't know. I mean, it is like watching, like Ken says, or the course says, it's like trying to run up to the screen and change the movie. Like, that's not where it's happening. That's just the movie. So yeah. I'm trying to sort out the little steps here in maybe finding more of the oneness, or finding more of that stillness, or maybe it is just doing it. I don't know. This is, I guess, my question after all of that.
Yeah, you pretty much answered it, really, Julia. I mean, it's, to me, the idea that there's a next step, that's from the personal self-identity that believes in time. So right. This is it. There is no next step. And so it's always whatever is in this moment that you're doing next is the next step. It's not you actually don't need the thinking mind in there to decide on the no. You're laughing because you know it's true. Like,
I do. Yes.
We don't need the thinking mind in there to figure out what's my next step. And it really is, and it's not a doing, as you so accurately said. It's presence. It's awareness of the self, which is what we are. And the self is shining through all emotions. It never dims. It never fades. So as bodies, we think, well, I'm sad, and so my light's not shining, and I'm angry, and so my light's not shining, or I'm frustrated, so I'm not fulfilling my function. Presence, which is what you are, never fades, shines through all emotions, all thoughts, all sensations, and it is fulfilling its function. And so as I heard a few of the things that you said, I hate what's happening now. I hate this. I hate COVID. To me, the only work there is to become aware of those kinds of thoughts. They're not bad. It's not a bad thought, but to recognize, like, if there's hate, that means there's resisting what is. That's it. That's all there is. Like COVID, it's what's happening right now. We're all wearing masks or not wearing masks. It's what's happening right now. So any thought that this shouldn't be happening, or I hate this situation, I don't like this situation, it's only resistance. And Course in Miracles tells us that that's what sickness is. Sickness is a defense against the truth. So in the middle of all this activity of the world, there you are. And that's all you have to remember. And you'll notice already, like you said, I'm laughing all the time. You'll notice that more and more it's just where you live.
So I just have one other little tab on that, because sometimes I look around and I think I'm like, all through this, I felt like I'm a calm spot in the middle of a tornado. I keep looking around and thinking, okay, and then my thinking mind goes into, why are you, okay, I know this is ridiculous. And I'm watching myself, but I'm thinking, you're calm? And is that actually okay? Because I feel that I've been really level through this,
Yep.
to the point where it almost looks like it's unacceptable to the outside to be.
Yes, and it is. They put Jesus on a cross for it. This peace and joy and love is unacceptable to a world of separation. And that's exactly right. It's so, and that's what the mind will do. It's like, things are going too well. I better be on guard, because I'm sure something bad's going to happen. But that's where it's like, stay right there. You got it. It's like to calm in the middle of the storm. That's the presence. That's what you are. And yeah, that's perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Terry, for.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? Like, you think everything's going great, and then something bad happens, and that's the dream of death that this whole thing is. That is based on the ego thought system. And
Yeah,
here's
what's
the thing.
interesting, I love that you said that, Jared, because like what's happened for me is that there's no good or bad anymore. That's what duality is. There's no right or wrong. There's no good thought or bad thought. There's no good bad event. There's only each of us in the recognition of something appearing. But then what do we do as bodies? We label it. That shouldn't be happening. That's bad.
Yeah.
But so now what happens is, whenever something happens, I'm like, okay, like it's just, I'm watching it. I'm just like, I see the news. I see the I read the news. I see what happens. You can't miss it. So you can only be like, am I judging it? Am I being triggered by it? Am I labeling it? Do I think it should be different? And that's, now everything's just a joy. It's just like, and maybe joy's not, I don't mean joy like in a cheerleading kind of a way, but there's to stay as presence, as happiness, as peace when the world is swirling around you. And this is exactly what A Course in Miracles is told us we're here to do. I know we're in our last minutes here, but it says that we go an instant into timelessness, and we see the face of Christ. We see ourselves. We see the wholeness, the oneness, the truth of who we are. And we see it in our brother. That's what timelessness is. We have an openness. And then what the Course in Miracles is inviting each of us to do is to carry this timelessness back into time. That's what we're here for, everybody. We're here to remember that this really is a plan of teachers, and that we're here to bring this perfection and wholeness and oneness into this dream of death, knowing it's not real. So I don't ever say anymore like it's not real. I never say that. In my mind, I know it's not real. But that's not helpful. It's not helpful to tell someone who has just told you they have a cancer diagnosis that the cancer is not real. But what I can remind them of is the power and the strength and the presence that they are. I can remind my brother what they have forgotten, and they find freedom in that. And that's for all of us, is that we, I always say it's like we're undercover agents in bodysuits. We look just like people, but we carry the light now. We as knowingly as presence. So what does Jesus call it? Our final happy game on earth. That's what we are. And I will tell you, people don't like it. I've had people tell me, and you, Terry, you know this, because I know you get the same thing. People say you got your head in the sand, you're just spiritual bypassing, you're just this people tell me right to my face, I'm a terrible friend. I'm not listening. But, it's just, I get it all the time. Like, but I'm like, no, I am not getting sucked into someone else's dream of death. That's my husband Bill says, what do you say? We love spiritual bypassing. What do you say? I'm all for spiritual
I
bypassing.
love spiritual bypassing. Why go through the suffering? Why do that to me?
Love it. Thank you both.
I want to tell everybody, we have some celebrities in the room. So Antoinette Sawyer and Clifton Sawyer right there. I want everyone to just know that these two are from a totally other planet, and they are they have a Sunday morning service. If anybody is interested in hearing a message that is just out of this world, do you guys want to say anything? Your website or your...
Yeah, can you hear?
Can you hear us now?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We were trying to be incognito. I should have kept my.
I didn't know whether we were supposed to say anything or not, because what you guys are talking about is so telepathic, intuition, telepathizing.
That's a new word.
When I found out that the Course was telepathically communicated and the Bible was telepathically communicated, and what you guys are really saying telepathically are words that cannot be spoken but can only be intuitively perceived, that causes the communication to be somewhat, the only way you can get it is through an experience.
Yes, and we wanted to say to you, Lisa, thank you for the transmission that you gave.
You said some things. You guys saying some things that just got chills.
Mm-hmm.
What really struck me was when they began to talk about their parents leaving, and I had to give rights to my mother. Mm-hmm. She would not leave until she heard my voice.
And so we feel you on that. Yes.
I have to fight hard to not drip.
And so we understand when Lisa says to be with the feeling, stay with the feeling, let it run its course, be absolutely human, because Jesus was absolutely human.
What's so amazing about this whole thing that we're looking at with you guys, my deja vu cranked up, and we were in the council chamber, and we have discussed everything that you guys are talking about to each other before we came to Earth, into this dream world. And you guys are really helping us out a whole lot. I don't want to say too much, because I want you guys to know that Lisa and Bill are the mother lode to us.
To us, yes.
And for us to be able to watch you, when my wife said that Lisa was going to be on tonight, I was in there watching Fire Stick, and I said, no, I better go get this other Fire Stick that you guys are on.
This is a fire. This is
thank you so much. I'm so happy when I saw you come in.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm fighting hard to not say anything.
Yeah,
you know?
we love you guys. We love you.
Thank
guys.
you for.
And it's so great to meet you, Jared. Great to meet
Thank
you.
you. Nice to meet
You
you.
guys are angels.
Yes.
And I see Arthur Gage has come in too. Hey, Arthur, nice to see you.
Arthur comes to our thing.
Great group you've got here, Jared.
It is awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you to the Sawyers for being here as well. Love meeting you. Excited to follow you and be friends with you as well. Our last question goes to Tina Panetta. You can unmute yourself, Tina. Where are you calling in from?
Hi, I'm calling in from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. So happy Friday to everybody. Nice to see everyone and see a lot of faces that I haven't met before. So I'm glad there's new people joining on the call. And nice to meet you, Lisa. Thank you, Terry, for inviting you. I've really connected with a lot of things that you had to say tonight. Lisa, I suffer from migraines. I've had cancer. So I get a lot of the body suffering that you were talking about. I was like tearing up as you were talking. And of course, I've gone through the whole Course in Miracles, read all the Gary Renard's books. And so I always go back to that. But I often feel like I'm still sitting in the classroom, like in university, just studying theory, but not really. There's like there's something that's not connected that I'm missing. I feel like the same thing that you were saying, like there's just something that I don't get that I'm missing. And I wondered when you went through your experience, when your husband told you that, to just connect with it, was it just like an instant moment for you where you were no longer suffering? Or was it a process? Like, did you study the course for a long time as well? Or if you could just elaborate a little bit more, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tina. Yeah, what was instant in the moment that Bill said that? Because I had been trying to heal, fix, change, understand body symptoms and pain for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years at that point. And even though I knew the course front and back, I had done the lessons 20 years in a row. So when he brought the non-dual teaching to me of welcoming it, that was like revolutionary to me, because I had been doing everything except welcoming it. Like you said, I have headaches, cancer. And as bodies, as personal self-identity, we name that bad. Like, this shouldn't be happening. This sensation should not be happening. I shouldn't have a headache. I shouldn't. And we have named what a perfect body is, what a perfect life is, it's all imaginary. And I loved something you said, like, how do I connect with it? You're already connected to it. That's the thing. You're already the presence of God. You're already the fullness and the beauty and the magnificence and the power. You are it, Tina. Not you, the body, but you, the presence. You are it. You are whole and healed and perfect. You are shining. You never stop shining. You are unstoppable. You are unlimited. And the world needs you, this light. It needs you. See, this is where it's a collaboration. The collaboration that started between Helen and Bill is actually the collaboration that's needed now with us, the personal self-identity, with the presence. We collaborate with it for a moment. It's like Tina says, okay, I'm going to recognize my perfection now. Screw cancer. I don't care if I have cancer, I don't care if I die tomorrow. That's the freedom. If the headaches, they never go away, so be it. And what I want to say to you, Tina, is that when you can sit in silence, resting in awareness, and you can watch the thought that says, I have a headache. So downgrade it, and then you'll watch the mind say, this is bad. Oh, this is the worst headache I've ever had. I'm going to die. it's all thoughts, right? And then what you do is you realize that there's an emotion involved. So then it's like, I'm frustrated, right? So there's this whole mix of stuff going on, right? But if you can downgrade it in the stillness to a sensation, where is this headache? I'm aware of a sensation. See, because I used to try to, when I did this, I got this from Bill, and he got this from Rupert Spira. I would say this is the worst pain ever. Guess what? I couldn't find it. I really couldn't. I would sit in stillness and I would be like, all right, I'm going to locate where this pain is. I was like, was it in the eyes? Is it where? It was like, it doesn't stay. And that's, you'll feel joy from that. You will, Tina, when you really just recognize, like, nothing can stop you from being the light that you are, because you are that now. And so cancer, no cancer, headache, no headache, it doesn't matter. You are the presence of God.
Thank you, Lisa, so much. That
Thank
means
you
the
so
world.
much.
Awesome. Can you believe the whole hour has passed?
Like that.
Like that. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. Well, thank you so much, Jared, for the invitation. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow with Christian at 2 o'clock Eastern.
Yes, me too. I'm going to be watching as an attendee. Christian will be running the show. And I just want to say, Lisa, can you tell everybody how to find you, like everyone watching this recording or even live right now? Where can they find you on social media, your website, your products? Like, how can we get a hold of you?
No, thank you. I have a website called lisanatoli.com, and I have a couple of programs. I'm a co-founder with my husband, Bill Free, of the Teachers of God Foundation. We have the 40-day program, which is totally free. And I also have something called the Healing Cure, and it's an 8-week online program for true healing. So it's everything I just shared with you, Tina. It's not about body healing. It's about recognition of self and presence. And it's based on A Course in Miracles. And I have a free email list. So I send messages out about once a week on healing and transformation and awakening. And that's me.
Sweet. All right. Now you know where to find Lisa Natoli and all of her great work. And thank you, Bill, also for being on tonight. Great having you. And we're just excited. You know, we're excited to know you. Thank you for taking time to answer all of these questions for everybody, especially my question about my friend who passed today. Really appreciate that. And I think that's it. We're excited for tomorrow. And Christian, you have anything you want to add about tomorrow?
Yeah, no, I'm just even more excited, and I didn't even think that was possible. I love the Eastern twist. I love how this is like I love Muji, and you remind me a lot of Muji and stuff, and so I'm looking forward to this direct path kind of thing, and have more experience. So,
Thank you so much, Christian.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all again. We love each and every one of you. Thank you for everyone who watched live tonight. Thank you for everyone watching the recording. Everything's in the description of this YouTube video to find Lisa and our groups and just be in this great community. We're going to unmute the lines and everyone say good night and God bless.
God bless you. I love you.
I love you too.
Good night.
Good
God
night.
bless. Love you all.
Good night. God bless.
Good night. Love you. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. God bless.
Good night. God bless.